Hi, dog.
Sky, this is a mess.
Hi.
Aw, what a
Hi,
huge
sweetheart.
cluster. Oh, what a baby.
You just come to give me love. Okay, bye.
Give her a pet for me,
Oh,
please.
here's a little
My
pat from
friend.
Carl. Okay, goodbye.
Rated E for everything.
What is going on, everybody? We're back with a brand new episode of Rated E for Everything.
It's a podcast where we talk a little about a lot, and I like that one. That was a fun one. I don't
You
know.
like that one? Good.
Maybe,
Okay.
maybe just seeing you made it more fun. With the
Watch the
with
video,
the
ladies and
like,
gentlemen.
you look like the lobster from Futurama.
Zoidberg.
Yeah. There you go. Exactly.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, no episode description.
They're gonna hate us, honestly, after a while of
Do you know what's
keep
so
doing this.
funny? Is like in reality, like it doesn't matter
I
because
I thought you were gonna be like, do you know what's so funny? I don't fucking care.
well,
Like,
also that is definitely part of it. However, the episode description exists in the title, the things we post on Facebook. Literally any episode description that you go of on any streaming service, it will describe it to you if you like just know how to get there. So it really doesn't make a difference about what the fuck I say or do because the episode description exists anyway. And if you follow us on literally any social media,
that's
you'll
true.
know what the fuck the episode's about.
That's fair enough. Also, like, if you listen all the time, I feel like you at this point you don't care what it's about. Like, if you're a constant
Also,
listener, like you're just
yeah,
here. I'd like to think you're just here for us.
yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know if that's real, but like I would like to think that in my brain.
That's not real life. That's not
That's
real.
not. No,
That's
no
not
one
real.
gives a shit about us.
Yeah, so in reality, like it doesn't really make a difference. Anyway, so much like most shit that I say doesn't make a difference.
Everything's made up and the points don't matter.
Correct.
One day we will get sued for that. I'm sure of it. That's fine. I also, just like in case you're watching, and Carl, you too, there's a mirror directly behind my computer screen right now.
Mhm.
So like I keep looking at myself in the mirror and it looks completely different than it looks in like
in
the
the
Zoom
computer?
because it's
Oh,
reversed.
yeah.
So I'm
Mhm.
like having these weird trippy moments where I'm like, what this side, like it's very strange to me.
You're like moving your hand. You're like, what the fuck is
I'm
going
like,
on
I'm
right
like,
now?
what do I actually look like?
Who
'Cause
am I?
it's like my right side in the reflection, my left side in Zoom, and it's very trippy. I don't know. It's very confusing.
Trippy.
Yeah.
Well, let's do the Kami game.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay,
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
In 3, 2, 1.
Duck.
Cowboy. Okay. You said duck, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I have one.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
In 3, 2, 1. Hunting.
Farm. Oh.
Oh, okay.
What do you have? I'm sad because I almost went like one that was like way more towards your direction and I didn't, and now I'm sad.
You said farm, right? And
Farm
I said hunting.
and hunting. Okay, I guess I'm ready.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
In 3, 2, 1. Animals. Let's go.
Yes. yes.
Yes.
Woo.
Fucking
Good.
feels good.
Fucking right.
Fuck.
Before
God, now I'm ready.
ready to go.
Every time we get it literally is so like it psychs you up. It really does.
You get hyped. You legitimately get hyped. And if you've been on the show with us and you got it, like you know.
Yeah, there's like a different. It hits different.
It feels because you get like sad when you don't
Yeah,
get it. Like, you
you
like
do.
almost
When you don't get it, like they're just like, especially if you're. I feel like when you're close, like it's not as upsetting. All that sometimes it's more upsetting, but like when you're like super far away, like no matter what, like you were not close at any point. I feel like that's almost worse.
You're like, do I even know this person? Should I even have a podcast with this person?
Yeah, I'm like, why our words have not been close at all? Like, what is going on right now?
Yeah. I feel like from like the start, like the second one, you said hunting, and I think I was gonna say like gun or something along those lines because I was
Oh,
thinking of like duck hunt and like
yeah.
cowboys. They both,
Hmm.
but we got there anyways.
Yes, we did.
Look at us go.
Yes, we did. Feels fucking fantastic.
Yes, I already feel like okay. So just to be completely transparent, hi dog.
Sky, this is a mess.
Hi.
Aw, what a
Hi,
huge
sweetheart.
cluster. Oh, what a baby.
You just come to give me love. Okay, bye.
Give her a pet for me,
Oh,
please.
here's a little
Goodbye,
pet from
friend.
Carl. Okay, goodbye. Well, that was a nice little hello from Sky. Maybe I'll just make that the intro clip of her coming to give kisses.
Do that. Do that.
Yeah. Okay. Puppy moments. What were we talking about? I'm so
Episode
sorry.
description. Psyched about the Cammy game, but now it's your turn to shine, my dear.
Oh, it's my time to shine. Guys, I was in charge. I don't know if I actually was in charge this week, but I took charge this week. Sometimes you just gotta take charge.
Chanel's always in charge.
You just gotta take charge sometimes.
Sometimes you just gotta.
Yeah. So I have been like dancing around this idea for a while, and I couldn't really figure out how to like. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. Time out. We're fucking the description for a second. What I was gonna say is to be completely transparent with you guys. We recorded this episode already, and it was trash.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes,
not
it
this topic,
was.
but an episode for this week, and it was trash. So we like
Scrapped it.
we completely
entirely.
we said fuck it, we'll do it again later. But this what I was gonna say is this recording already feels 9,000 times better than that one.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And also we were in a weird timeline where we were 2 weeks ahead, so it was strange because we were talking about our 100th episode that's coming up pretty soon, and we were like 2 weeks behind. So we were like, oh yeah, in a week the 100th episode is gonna come out, but in reality it was in 2 weeks. So like it was just like it was fucking with my brain. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
it's confusing.
now the correct answer is, guys, in 1 week from the release of this episode, our 100th episode will debut.
Yeah,
Can
that is
you
fucking wild.
dig it? Because I sure as shit can.
Can you feel it, Mr. Krabs?
Can you feel that shit? I can feel that shit.
It really is wild. It's been a wild ride because when we talk about old episodes, I'm like, oh yeah, like a couple months ago, and I'm like, that was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. 2 full fucking years ago.
Yeah.
Guys, going back and listening to old episodes is so fucking crazy and nostalgic. Already, it's so funny. Like you can hear the dip in quality. It's so kind of
That's true.
It's honestly horrendous. Like, and also how inexperienced we are. Like it's humorous for me. Although that Kokomo episode is fuego. It's still
it really is. It really is. They weren't bad to start, but we definitely are more comfortable now.
That is facts.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's save it for the actual 100th episode, ladies and gentlemen.
You're right.
So let's get into the topic. And now, once again, I'm going to turn it over to my lovely co-host. My lovely host panel.
That's me. Yeah, Cannel, I can't say it wrong. The
Cannel, the host.
Right, sure. I'm gonna leave that to you, honestly. So like I said, I've been dancing around this idea for a while, and I couldn't really figure out how to make it into a full episode. And so the idea is the idea of fear, the conception of fear. That sounds very intense,
Jesus,
doesn't it?
Intimate.
I know. I had been doing, because we talk about like my deer phobia so often, I've been like trying to like do an episode of me and Carl's fears, but I don't think there's enough to talk about. So now we're just kind of doing fear as a whole. What is it? Where does it come from? Where does it go? Cotton Eye Joe. That happened. Yeah, that happened. I'm leaving it. It's happening. But no, really, like, where does it come from and where does it advance to? I'm so glad that you're still laughing at that, because I
just thought of it again because you said advance to, and I obviously still thought of like, where do you go? Like, where do you come from?
You see, it was good. It was better than you thought at first. It's like
Cotton Eye Joe. Of course, it's fucking better than I thought it would be. Like anything related to Cotton Eye Joe's gas immediately. Like even if the joke was absolutely
percolated, that joke percolated and it got better for you.
It ruminated inside of me.
Yes, I'm happy about it.
And now it's really time for the percolator.
Oh God, it's getting worse. I printed out a
You've
bunch of
infected
stuff.
me. You infected me.
I was gonna say I just do that, but that sounds like I have herpes. So
Good God.
moving back to fear, the fear of herpes is never
Guys,
present.
it's very real. It's STDs are real. Go get checked.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so the conception of fear, what it means, where it comes from, the levels of it. I printed out like a fucking novel. There's like at least 30 pages here. And I haven't actually gone through all of it. I wanted to do that with Carl because it's kind of like a learning experience for both of us, because who the fuck dives into the root of fear?
I can't wait to read this academic journal with you on the podcast.
Yes. Yeah, so
Yes.
we're talking about fear and everything that has to do with it, because what else do you want to hear about except for absolute horror on your morning commute or wherever you listen to us? Are you in the bathroom? Do you hear me
Are you in
on the
bathroom
toilet?
right now?
What are you
watching
wearing?
porn alone?
What are you wearing right now? Is it at least stylish? Doesn't have to be sexy, but do you look good?
Give that tushy tight for me. Give me the tight. Taking care of that
Or,
tushy for me.
are you having a comfy day? We
Mm.
stand that too. We do.
Yeah. How you feeling? Feeling comfortable?
You feeling fearful? Okay. Anyways, I guess I'm gonna just start with the things. God damn it. I can't. This very not serious topic. So I guess the like starting point of all this is like, what is the actual definition of fear? Like, what is
Wait,
fear?
Chanel.
Yeah,
What is fear?
What is it? I'm gonna tell you.
Can you tell me?
I'm
Because
gonna tell you right now.
I don't think I know.
What is it? But for realsies, fear is one of 7 universal emotions, which I didn't know was a thing.
Wow. Universal emotions. Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
we're connected. Yeah, I guess there's 7 universal emotions. I don't know what they are, so we should probably look that up at some point, that are experienced by everyone around the world. So fear arises with the threat of harm, either physical, emotional, or psychological, which can be real or imagined. While traditionally considered a negative emotion, fear actually serves as an important role in keeping us safe, as it mobilizes us to cope with potential danger. So
That's facts.
basically,
That's facts.
fear, if you listen to fear, you'll stay alive.
Emotional damage will keep you alive.
Emotional damage.
You actually did it.
I don't know what I have to do.
Emotional damage.
Now we've both done it. Now we're both in the wrong.
Now we're both in the wrong. Now we go to jail together. It's exactly how it should be.
Yeah.
So,
I guess.
Wait. So you're telling me that fear is one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world?
Yeah.
And that it affects all humans?
I'm gonna find out what the other 7 are.
What part of the brain does fear arise from, Chanel? I don't know if you have that information. I just kind of assumed that you did.
I'm pretty sure we'll get there.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know though. Not the 7 deadly sins, the 7 universal emotions.
It's actually just completely fucking made up by whoever wrote the article that you printed out.
Okay, this one says 6.
Ooh.
Whoa. Okay. I got it.
Conflicting info, ladies and gentlemen. Conflicting.
The 7 basic or universal emotions. They are anger, fear, disgust. So far, this just sounds like the plot of Inside Out.
Yeah, wait, I was just gonna say we're watching Inside Out.
Contempt, which is not an Inside Out.
I don't even know what the fuck that means.
Joy, sadness, and surprise.
So surprise and contempt are out from Inside Out. They got rid of those 2.
But everything else is there.
I mean, all I know is that you can be held in contempt.
We're focusing on fear. Yes, that's it. So those are the 7 that I guess all humans experience. Other than that, whatever you're experiencing is made up and the points don't matter. I don't know. I didn't mean it.
I don't know about that one.
I'm joking. I'm joking. Your
So
emotions are
Chanel,
real.
can you tell me anything else about fear?
Literally, I can tell you so much.
Then
I
keep telling
can.
me.
What I thought was really cool, is that there are 8 intensities of fear.
Describe them to me.
Okay, you and your classroom thing is gonna have to end.
So we can discuss.
Okay, so they range in 8 levels, starting at least intense to most intense. It starts with trepidation, then goes to nervousness, then anxiety.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you describe trepidation, please?
Trepidation is like, I mean, nervousness, but a little bit less. Like
Like
you're
a
like,
feeling like uneasy.
yeah, exactly.
Uneasiness.
Let
Like
me read
okay,
you an exact definition so I'm not lying to
butchering
you.
it. Okay.
Yeah. Trepidation is a feeling of fear or agitation about something that may happen. So it's like anticipating it's like being anxious
Yeah.
but less. So I feel like the first 3 are like levels of anxiety because
Yeah.
it's trepidation, nervousness, and then like full on anxiety, which is
Trepi-
which is where like most of us lie, which is
oh,
horrible.
great. Anxious all the time.
Yeah. After anxiety, which to me sounds like the worst one, but I guess it's not. Dread. So you go
Okay.
from anxiety to dread.
I don't know. That dread is pretty horrendous.
Right. That's what I thought too. But also no, I'll show you like the printed out chart, but a lot of these overlap.
Okay.
Um, dread turns into desperation.
Yeah.
Desperation turns into panic. Panic goes to horror, absolute
Oh.
horror.
Oh my.
And then the final level, the most intense, is terror.
Okay.
So the
Wow.
the chart looks like this. So there's like a lot of overlap to the
Terror
levels.
is so small.
It's
Bro, what
so
the fuck?
minute.
That must be like you must be experiencing some unholy like terrible shit to experience
Terrible,
terror. Like it
terrible.
must be like literally
Literally
terrible.
terrible. Yeah. I'm gonna if I had to guess, I don't know this for a fact, but if I had to guess, I would guess that you and I have actually never experienced true terror.
I think you're probably right about that. I'd say
Yeah.
that the maximum that I could probably get on that list was probably one above. What's the one above dread?
Desperation.
Well, probably then horror, I guess. Like I feel like horror is like the only.
I think we've probably both gotten to horror because it's above panic. We
Yeah.
definitely have panicked.
Yeah.
I don't know that we've reached terror because I feel like that's like a guttural,
Yeah.
like you're being tortured or like you are on the verge
Mhm.
of death or something like that. Something that we haven't quite gotten to, if I had to
Yeah,
guess.
something a little bit more intense than just your average like, oh my god, like I'm feeling anxious, like that, something like that. So I feel like it's just vile. Like you're
Could
experiencing something absolutely fucking horrendous in that moment, and that's what causes that. That's why it's so small, like such a small sliver on the chart. But the
yeah,
fact
and
that it goes all the way to the bottom, that's crazy.
yeah,
Like
I
looking
don't
at the overlap on there is like I'm like fascinated by the way that chart functions.
yeah, because dread overlaps with nervousness at some point. Anxiety overlaps with the first 3. So trepidation, nervous, anxiety's in both of those.
Okay.
Um, yeah, the other ones get like smaller as you go up because they're, I think, less common.
Can you show me the graph again?
Yeah. I wish I printed it in color. I did not because
I
I'm
want to do a
poor.
little bit more analysis.
If
Oh, okay. So dread is even in nervousness, like at the end there.
yeah,
I do see what you mean about the color disparity gets weird in desperation and panic, and
it gets a little muddled. So we're not
which is
the
it's
best.
difficult, but like but regardless, like you can very clearly see, like I feel like that's even part of it too, the fact that it's like shaded differently like as you go through, because that's what it is, right? Like
Yeah.
yeah, so it's fascinating to see. I didn't even know there were that many levels
Levels.
of fear.
I know. I was like, all right, this is a vague idea. I don't know. That's why I like pulled it up. And then like the more I looked, which is very like surface level, I was like,
Mhm.
this is actually really intriguing. So I just was kept printing shit like I want to know more. I don't know. I didn't want to read it without you, so I
Yeah,
didn't like
yeah,
so
I
that I
mean
just printed it all.
I
Um
don't-
So I guess the next thing to go through, and we don't have to stick to this, we can just talk about shit once we get to it. But is what makes us fearful, like what brings about fear. And
Okay.
like we said, it's like the threat of harm that could be real or imagined, which to me is fucking fascinating.
Yeah, the fact
That-
that that imaginary shit will cause your like fear factor to go like
and I,
off. Like that shit's like I I don't know. I mean, that's why like I get scared at like fucking horror movies because it's like supernatural shit. And like I
I
know it's not
wonder,
real and it's imaginary.
yeah, I wonder at what level like a horror movie could bring you to, because it is
I
imaginary and
don't
it's like
know.
I would imagine anxiety would be the highest you can go from like a movie. But I mean, some people are so fearful of
Really?
horror movies.
Didn't Sinister like make you feel like some like type of horrible ass way?
Sinister made me feel heavy. It
Oh,
like
okay.
it made me feel like something actually happened to me where
Yeah.
I wanted to like afterwards I didn't feel good.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? But I don't
Yes,
think
yes,
I got
yes.
like higher on the scale.
Oh, okay, okay. I was gonna okay.
It made me
I
feel
understand
bad
what you're saying.
after. Like when you're in
Yeah.
a like something shitty happens and you're like in a rough mood after, like that's how I
Mhm.
felt.
Okay.
Um but yeah, so that the fact that you can imagine yourself, and I have to think that that's kind of where um like mental unstableness, like someone who would go to an actual like psych ward, I would imagine that their imagination can bring about something as bad as horror or
Oh,
terror.
yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes,
And
exactly.
that's horrifying. Like you could just
That's
make that
so
happen to
fucking yep.
yourself.
You could do it to yourself. You literally do it to yourself. It really be your own mind.
Yeah. Excuse me, why are we fighting us? Like
Yeah, no, seriously. Aren't we on the same team here? Like, what the fuck?
yeah, which I guess brings about an anxiety of its own, like thinking that you can just get yourself to that point in your own mind. Like
Yeah.
that's a scary thought in itself.
Yeah.
Anyways, um,
Also,
so
like the fear that comes with like overthinking and stuff like that. Like that shit. Like, what I mean, I'm assuming that like you could get to probably at least the first 4 levels into dread with overthinking, like
exactly,
feasibly,
like
feasibly, like even like very fucking easily, I'd say.
yeah, it's almost like saddening to think that like a lot of us just rest in the third tier of fear. Like our life occurs in the third tier.
Yep.
Like that's a big chunk. Like
We're
that's
all
so
just chilling
much.
in anxiety. No
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, we're just living in it. Like to
I
be
mean,
the
good.
person to be the person that's not on this scale as like a general like line of being,
Oh
I just
yeah.
I feel jealous of it.
I feel chill. The average, so it said that the average person like usually like chills in anxiety like for most of their life.
Between
Like
nervousness and anxiety. Anxiety is a bit more extreme, like you would have
yeah,
anxiety.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that just seems unfair that some people just live at regular.
What's that like?
Yeah, it
How's
must be
what's a,
nice.
how does that make you feel? Good, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Those are the ones that don't go to counseling ever. Like they're just fine. They're cool raw
Yeah,
dogging it.
exactly. So fucked up. How do y'all
um
do it? Must be
yeah,
nice.
right. Share with the class. So the threat of fear is for physical, emotional, psychological well-being. So there are certain things that can trigger fear in most of us, and we can be, this is a scary sentence, we can learn to become afraid of nearly anything. So fear is generally learned.
Mm,
So
I don't know. Like that's not right.
right. Okay, that
That's
brings up
not
like
okay.
three different things for me. First of all, the first thing I thought of was like bubble wrap parenting. Like you
Yeah.
can literally train your kid to be afraid of the world.
Yep. You literally. Yep. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
And that's a scary thought because like you can raise a kid to to be above anxiety for the rest of their life because they're just they learn that they can be afraid of anything.
Oh my god. That's literally like the psychology behind this is crazy
I'm
because you can
already
imprint on your kids like so easily like your own fears. Like it's like this. Like especially when they're young, that shit's easy as fuck to do. Like
right.
so the fact that you could create like you could mess up like a literal child up for the rest of their entire fucking life by imprinting like all of your insane and potentially very unreasonable fears upon them for absolutely no goddamn reason is fucked up.
Yeah, that's so. I keep saying this, but it's a scary thought.
Yep.
It's literally a fearful thought that you
I
could
think
just ingrain fear into someone like from the start.
I'd like to get this out in the open, like pretty early. Like fear is like, I feel like you said, like people like there's a stigma behind fear, like it's a bad, like it's got a negative connotation with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, but to be honest, like fear really does keep you alive. Like that's the fucking thing that does it. Like that fight or flight response will do that to you.
exactly.
But
Which is another thing we need to get into eventually.
being too afraid means you will literally do absolutely fucking nothing. You will literally not ever live your life. You'll never live your life to the fullest that you possibly could have because you're letting fear get the better of you every time. And that's not what fear is meant to do. It's not meant to hold you back. It's meant to push you forward and then hold you back from the situations that are dumb as fuck.
I'm like literally so okay. I have so much to talk about on this topic that it's like kind of blowing my mind. Like it just branches off in so many directions. I'm
Yeah,
so
it
glad
does.
that you brought it up because where is like the point of stupidity? Where is the line? Because you have to live your life and like the bad timing for this BT dubs, but Will Smith says in a documentary, really bad timing for Will Smith quotes, but he says that life lives on the other side of fear.
Yeah,
Your life waits for you on the other side of fear.
that's
but,
true.
but like because you have to push yourself past comfortable to experience new things.
Yes.
But where is the line where you're just a fucking idiot?
I think
Like,
I think that there's person like it's I think it varies. I think it varies from person to person. Like let me like think of like something that so here's like a personal example, I guess. I used to be definitely afraid of roller coasters, literally like a fearful for my life to get on a roller coaster like at any point until like I just like nutted up and I was like, I'm just gonna do it and get on a roller coaster and that's like it. And if I die, and literally like I literally like got on it and I was like, my like fear is like that. My fear was always that like the roller coaster would malfunction and that we would all fucking perish. So
right.
literally, I got on it and I was like, if I die, I fucking die. Like,
If I die, I die.
And honestly, like it worked out because I fucking love roller coasters now. However, there is like some shit that I would never do when it comes to like that like adrenaline junkie kind of thing because I feel like that's what roller coasters is. It's fear inducing like to get that adrenaline rush, right?
Correct.
Like
Correct.
so
But that
like,
level is so low for some people. Like
yeah.
scary movies can be like that adrenaline rush, just
Mhm.
that little bit for some people. Like I mean,
Yeah.
that's already too much for you. But you go on a roller coaster. Like
Yeah,
one will kill
exactly.
you and one won't.
Yeah, it's crazy how the like the
Potentially.
levels of fear like work differently. Yeah, exactly. Especially for different people because like everybody's like more afraid or less afraid of something different because like me not liking horror movies could be someone else's roller coasters or like
Right. Yeah.
me not liking horror is obviously like I have no issue with like your issue with deer. Like I don't have a problem with deer. Like I see them all the time. If I
Yeah.
had a problem with deer, I'd be fucked.
Yeah, where you live, especially. Yeah,
I would
absolutely.
be fucked. So like it's crazy how different things affect people. And again, I feel like it goes back to like different, it's your entire environment that shapes you and causes you to fear the things that you do.
And I'm gonna push on that line right back at you because see, I would here we go. It's so fucking insane to me because I won't go on a roller coaster, but
Really?
I won't go on a roller coaster, but I will jump off a cliff.
See, and I would never jump off a cliff.
So like where does like
Yeah, exactly. Like, because would you go skydiving?
absolutely.
I could never do that.
I want to and I plan to this summer. So if you're listening and you want to go, hit me up. Yeah, I want to go this summer. So exciting for me. I finally hit my weight loss goal where I am under the weight, like sufficiently under the weight to go skydiving. So I'm very excited about that. But like, yeah, I won't go on a roller coaster because I have no control. I don't
That's
have
fair.
control over the situation. I can't, if something goes wrong, I can't fix it. Where if I'm jumping off a
Okay.
cliff, I can check everything myself.
Yeah.
And if something happens, it's because of what I did.
Yeah, I don't want that responsibility. I don't want to be responsible for my own life in those situations because I feel like I'm gonna fuck up then.
Well, and then like I'm pushing the line back and definitely all in all respects, a respectful way, like rest in peace to this kid. But just this week, this athlete, he's a bigger dude. He went to Florida and he went on like one of those giant drop rides.
Oh
He was a
yeah.
little bit bigger and he fell out. and he died
Yeah.
because like
See,
the harness didn't clip all the way. And like
nah,
again, rest in
absolutely
peace
not.
to that kid. That's so tragic. It's horrifying
That's
and
literally like the perfect example of what I was fucking referring to with like a ride malfunctioning or something like that.
right.
Like it's
And
stupid shit like that, like horrendous shit like that.
in all honesty, it could have been avoided if someone did like a seat check. Like he
Yeah.
very clearly was not clipped in.
Oh.
And again, I'm all respect due. I don't mean any harm by talking about it, but like that's like a thing. Like like a roller coaster can kill you, a horror movie can't. Like a deer, I guess it could kill you, but I mean, it definitely can kill you, but it's not likely to. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
jumping off a cliff or skydiving, like your only options are you have fun or you die. Like
Exactly.
like it doesn't get better. So like where is the line of you're fighting your fear response too far? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like that's literally like that's a personal question.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that depends on who you are, because like some people have such trouble like going like past that line like a
Mhm.
lot, very frequently. So
Which brings up phobias. Like
yes,
because
exactly.
if you keep pushing against that line, you all of a sudden become agoraphobic, which is the fear of putting yourself in a situation that you're stuck in, like a fear of
Exactly.
leaving your home essentially because you think
Mhm.
you'll die in some way.
Oh God. And I mean, and to think about that, like to because I think this is something that like not everybody thinks about regularly. You could take one step out of your house and die every single second of every single day. You could
You can
die at
die.
any
You can
moment. You could
die
literally
in
just
your house.
I could, yeah, exactly. I could drop dead right now for no fucking reason. Who knows?
Yep.
Literally, who fucking knows? And the fact that like we just block that like out, because I mean, imagine if you were thinking about that constantly. Every single waking moment, you're like, I could die now, now.
And
I could
some
die
people
now or then.
do. Some people
Yeah.
do think about it, and that's why they lose their fucking mind. And it's
Yes.
horrifying.
Yes.
Like
It's horrifying that you
that
could
is where
literally
you
like do
can
that to yourself. You're creating like that imaginary scenario, like they literally said, like real or imaginary, and that
right.
shit will fuck you up.
Right. You're literally learning to fear everything.
Mm-hmm.
And they said like any type of fear can be learned.
Yep.
But
Anything.
that brings up there's like a perfect segue to my next point. Do you think that there are some things that like we as humans are afraid of that are not learned? They're just like innate in your soul. Besides
Snakes.
like stepping off a fucking cliff, you know?
Snakes.
Snakes, right? Things in nature. No, like for real, it's a good example. Things in nature, like
Yeah.
if you're afraid of them, it keeps you alive because you stay away.
Mm-hmm. Like innately, I feel like we're not really born with anything innately.
You don't think there's like a nature, like something
I
in
mean,
nature
maybe
that keeps
that,
you
and I feel
alive?
like if that's like the case, then it would just be like it would just be other animals or other like harmful things. I guess
Well,
like that like exist in nature already.
let me pose some prior psychology knowledge to you. If you put
Pose it.
so infants can swim. I don't know if you know that. Like an infant out of the womb can swim
Stop it right
because
now.
that's what they do in the womb. They swim.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But if you put an so this is so weird that this came about. I thought this is something I would never need to like use in my life. If you put an infant in water
Yeah.
and you put like a pool essentially, and then you
Okay.
put a portion of like see-through bottom, like essentially looking like a cliff, and then like
Okay.
solid, most if not all infants will swim up to the point of where it looks like they're gonna fall. Like they won't go past the clear.
Oh, I know about this. I know. I remember this study. I remember learning about this in my psych class. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. I do remember
Right,
this.
right.
Yes, yes.
Poke the back of your
That
brain.
shit is that it must be innate then. It must be that fear of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna die. Like
Right.
that has to be. So I'm assuming that it's got to be the same with like other things in nature. So like natural things like that, like a cliff or an animal, like something that, although I don't know if potentially like being afraid of a snake is something that's innate. You know what I mean?
Or
Like,
is it learned?
yeah.
So my question to you is like there are some things that I feel that are more common, and it's funny because I'm actually reading this and we're on like the right path and I didn't even mean to be, but
Nice.
there are things that are like common fears in most humans, and I wonder, is that something that we teach our kids as they're small, or is that something we're born with? And like I'll like to name a few. My first thoughts were spiders.
Mm-hmm.
They are this big, and most of them are not poisonous. Why are
Yeah.
all of us fucking
No,
terrified of them?
seriously, I don't remember any like traumatic thing happening with me when I was a child to cause me a fear of spiders, but I'm afraid of them anyway.
Terrified. Like
Yeah.
like we can squish them with our thumb, like our hand,
Yeah,
and we'll be
literally.
fine.
Like it's
And
no big deal.
they like I see a spider and like my heart skips a beat. Like I am
Exactly.
I'm so
Exactly.
afraid of them. Why? But I see an ant and I'm fine. We're cool.
And I'm fine.
So I always think in my head, I'm like, what giant fucking creature existed in nature that made us all like, that's bad?
Oh my god, you think that we're talking about giant spiders here? Like maybe that's
Yeah.
it. Like
Like
I mean, maybe.
something where it could have killed us. So we learned that they're bad.
I mean, do you think there's the potential that giant spiders existed back when like we were like budding humans, and then because obviously they're insects or arachnids, I guess, they don't have fucking bones, so it's not like they would become fossilized.
They have like exoskeletons,
Oh,
but
that is true.
I would think
Oh,
they
we would
would
find giant fucking
degrade.
yeah. We
I
would
don't
probably be
know.
finding giant spider fucking exoskeletons. Well, yeah, because like it would be imprinted into like the rocks and shit, just like the other. Never mind, the other insects were. Anyway, regardless, like
Like what made us all terrified of spiders? Like
Australia,
these little
the
yeah,
spiders in
right.
Australia,
Right.
the
So
spiders
it's
over there.
learned then.
Yeah, that it is.
The other thing I know, and I don't know if there's a name for this. I just learned somewhere that humans are all equally afraid of something that's humanoid, like a visual that is. So
Okay.
picture it, listeners. It's like kind of a human face, but not perfectly. Something's off about it. And this face is pale, if not stark white. And the eyes are massive and dark. They're like soulless eyes. And they have either a smile or fangs. Like that image, for some reason, like if it popped up on your screen right now, would scare the ever living shit out of you. And we don't know why.
Do you have what is this called? Like, what do you know? What
I
this is?
don't
Like,
I don't know what it's called, but just like it's like I've learned it somewhere and I can't remember, but it's like this thing where like humans see that and it's immediately uncomfortable. They are already past anxiety.
wow. Let me see if there's a picture. I don't
Uh
think so.
like
That's
a good
the way you
example of
just
it was like
Slender Man.
that Momo thing that came up on
Oh
the internet.
yeah. That's not. I do not fuck with that at all. I don't even want to look that up.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
No, that and like when we were kids, well when I was a kid, there was this thing where you would like play like a maze game and then this face would like pop up and scare you.
No.
It was like it was like a prank we played, but everyone's like that image of like this pale thing with big eyes, like it's innately like a fear in humans.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that doesn't sit right. I don't know what that is, but that doesn't sit right with me anyway.
There's no specific, but like that
Yeah.
is if you picture that in a horror movie, you are going to scare people. Like it just does. It makes them immediately uncomfortable and we don't know why.
Strange. That's so weird.
Another one is darkness. Why? Why are we afraid of the dark? I'm not afraid to say I am terrified of the dark. The dark
Yeah.
scares the crap out of me.
I think it goes back to like a fear of the unknown.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's definitely what it's rooted in, and not knowing what's going to happen, because anything could be in the dark. Imaginary shit exists in the dark. That's
Yep.
and then it's also like your mind starts to wander. There's
Yep.
nothing, because the darkness is emptiness. So you
The
fill that
darkness
space with your own thoughts.
just the absence of light. But
Yeah.
even in your own home, a place where you know every corner and every turn, you can walk through your house with your eyes closed and you know it. You turn the light
lights
off,
and I'm still fucking scared of it. Like,
you're terrified.
exactly.
You run. You're like, nope,
Yeah,
done.
yeah,
Done.
exactly. Like every time I go into the basement at night, if I'm putting clothes down there, like at my own house, like to do laundry or something like that, like I run up the stairs if it's anytime past 10 p.m. I'm like, I'm getting the fuck out of this bitch. Like we're not
Me
doing it.
too.
Like
Me too.
I don't know, like I see like all these memes of it's like when you go to the bathroom like in the middle of the night and you have to run back to your room so the monster doesn't like crawl back up the stairs after you. Like, but why? But why do you think that way? Like, what the fuck makes you think that? It's your own home, bro. Literally your own house. Like,
yeah.
why would you be so fearful of something in your own home, especially something that could potentially not even exist?
The weirdest part is that it's a shared experience. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we all do it. I mean,
Yeah,
unless
like how do we all experience that same thing at once?
yeah, it's weird.
I've gotten better with my fear of the dark, but like that shit's still, I don't know, not really.
The other day I was hanging out with some friends and we like I had to run to my car to get something and it was dark.
Okay.
I'm literally like totally fine, not thinking of like a single scary thing all night. I literally go to my car, which is less than 20 yards away, and I am sprinting. My heart rate is up. I'm
Yeah.
terrified, and I'm like, someone's gonna get me. Something's gonna come. Like I just like
You gotta be
darkness.
careful, bro. You
Yeah.
don't know. You don't know what's lurking in the shadows. That's the thing. You don't exactly. You don't know what's lurking in the shadows. Your mind wanders. Like
Yeah.
I said, like I experience the same thing when I have to let the dog out late at night. Sometimes I don't want to let my mom's like, make sure you put her on a leash. I'm like, why? What's out there that's gonna get her? And I know it's perfectly well, it's coyotes, raccoons, and possums. But what if it's a fucking Wendigo?
Honestly, though,
coming to get me.
in your home area, that would be like a constant fear of mine. It really would.
No, I hate going outside. I hate like, especially late at night over there. I literally look out my front porch and I see directly into the woods.
Yeah. No way. I don't think I can handle it, especially with my
No.
fear of deer, because even if it's something reasonable, like a fucking deer, I'm having a problem.
I'm having a problem. I'm having a problem.
So funny that we got to this at the right time, because like literally in front of me it says common fear triggers, like ones that people share: darkness or loss of visibility of surroundings, heights and flying, which I feel like makes sense. It just keeps you alive.
Yeah. Reasonable.
Social interaction and or rejection.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We are
Snake.
social creatures. So
Yeah,
any
yeah.
form of like anything that you never know, like people could just completely fucking reject you outright in a conversation. That shit's horrendous. So like,
And it
how could
hurts.
you, yeah, it does. Exactly. Like it takes you out. Like you're like, why don't you like me? And that's another huge thing too. Like not being accepted by people. Are you kidding? Like that's one of the biggest fears of all time.
And that again makes me wonder, like, does social interaction keep us alive? And so
Yeah.
when it goes wrong, like, it's a legitimate fear.
Yeah. I think that
This
like
is so juicy. I like this
social
a lot.
interaction does keep you alive. Sorry, we're gonna pivot to that real quick because I firmly believe that. I think that if
I
I
think
was
that's been
stuck,
proved.
yeah, true. I think if you were stuck alone by yourself for forever, you'd freak out. You literally lose your mind. You would go crazy. You don't have anybody. You'd start talking to yourself. Like it's exactly what happened to Tom Hanks in the fucking movie where he gets stuck. Castaway. He starts talking to a volleyball, bruh. He develops an emotional attachment to a volleyball. And how long was he gone? I don't even remember.
I don't know.
It doesn't make a difference. Regardless, like you create these things in your mind when you don't have anybody.
Yeah.
And that's
there's been like so many I guess cases, like real life true crime cases, where someone's like raised in a basement and they no longer function well because they haven't been socialized. Like they cannot function in life normally.
It's terrible.
That's such a weird thought.
Yep.
The next one: snakes, rodents, spiders, and certain animals. So we kind of nailed that. Rodents too. A lot of people terrified of mice.
I never got that. I also like, I don't have an issue with rats, but I mean, I'm not like, yay, rats. Like,
I feel like rats are like, they can actually like
hurt you.
They can hurt you. They can very well hurt you. And I do think the only other thing I could think of is rats and mice carry disease.
But rats carry more diseases than mice. Like literally, you could have a mouse be a pet. I mean, you could have a rat for a pet too, but that'd just be nasty as fuck. Like
I had a friend, she had 3 rats, and they were actually like really like sweet creatures. Nice. Yeah, and they were cute.
Maybe it's just the feral rats then.
The alley rats coming to get you. And then death and dying.
I'm afraid of that.
I don't know that I am. I think I'm afraid of whatever comes after. But that's a whole different topic.
Yeah, and we've already touched on that.
Yeah. The function of fear, as we kind of said, I'm not going to read all this, but it's to keep us alive. Basically, it keeps us alive by forcing us to react without having to think about it, which I think is really cool.
And then it's the thinking about it that makes it worse.
The thinking about it was probably what will kill you.
Yeah.
If you stop to think in a situation where you need to be fearful, if you stop to think about it, you're probably going to die.
Yeah.
The evolutionary preset actions of fear include fight, flight, and freezing, which I think people leave out way too often.
Yes, they do.
Because
freezing is a very real thing, y'all. Like, all I can think of is the scene from Black Panther where they're like, "Don't freeze," and he's like, "I never freeze."
I never freeze. I actually just so you brought up fight or flight, and I was like, we need to circle back to that. So again, perfect. fight or flight is the response. So fear happens and your body usually picks one. You either fight, so you whatever it is, you face it, whether it's imaginary or not, you face it and you get through it. Flight is you fucking take off. You run, you disappear from that situation somehow. And then freezing, I love that they put it on there because it is the third option. It is what happens. People freeze. Like I said, if you stop to think about it, you're freezing.
Yeah.
You probably will die.
Or if it's something like terrifying enough, if it hits that terror level, you might be fucked. You really might be.
You just freeze. And I think everyone's been there where something happens that's scary. And instead of doing something, you're just like,
what?
What? Hold on.
Huh?
Yeah.
How do you even proceed after that? Like what?
You usually don't.
Yeah. Stop you dead in your fucking tracks.
I just talked about this with one of my friends again. That said like they never thought they'd be a freezing person, and then something happened very real where like death was imminent, and they froze, and someone else had to save them, and they were like so disappointed, like so upset with themselves.
Yeah.
It's that same thing.
You can say whatever the fuck you want. Like you can talk a hard game all day long, but until you're actually in that situation, I feel like you can't really measure like what you will do.
Exactly. Because you have no idea.
Yeah, because in that moment you're gonna make that fucking split second decision. So
yeah, or something. I don't know if it's you particularly. It's like a hormonal response or like whatever. Just like
what
you pick.
What is the part of the brain that controls fear? It's gonna bother me. Oh my god. Okay, I fucking knew it.
Wait, don't tell me. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah. So, but it's fascinating how it works. And I mean, what do you think? You probably think that like, I feel like in some situations with it's life or death, if I could fight it, I would. But like, really, would I? Like, who knows? Like, I feel like, to be honest, probably just get out of that bitch. Gone. You're done. And you just gotta go. Like,
I think I know slightly, not in extreme situations, but like slightly, I think I know my response, because when it comes to like human fear, like human caused situation fear, like
confrontation,
where like a person is the problem, I know that I fight, and not like physically fist fight, but like I will react, because like I've been in situations where like a friend is going to get hurt, like in a bar, and like not like in a fight, like they were just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I literally like grabbed that person and like cocooned them, like just out of instinct. And then like the firework thing, I don't know if you remember last year when we were watching the fireworks, you had actually left, thank God, but like fireworks fell over towards us, not of our accord, like some strangers, and one of the people we were with froze, and I literally like again like put myself in between and like cocooned and like protected as best I could without thinking. It was like, and then I turned around and Hannah had taken off. She just ran. So like those were like
so
the
it's
two different.
It's so funny to see the different takes like of things. Yeah.
But then it comes to like, I think I told you I had like what I would call a supernatural experience, and I couldn't move. Like I was calling my brother crying. I was like, please, and he was like, just leave. And I was like, I can't. Like my body's not fucking moving. Like it's not work. Like please help me. So I've done the freeze, and I don't know if I've ever been in a situation where I need to flee, like that I can remember.
I feel like that's the ultimate. That's the last resort. Always. Like
take off.
Like I feel like sometimes it's freezing. Like obviously it can be like any like numeration. You could experience all three at one time. You can experience like them at like different varying times. Like it depends on the situation, of course, and what your immediate response is, what your continued response is, and what your future response will be. Because you could experience all three. You could freeze in the moment and then try to fight. And then if it doesn't go well, you could flee. Or you could just freeze and then die. Or you could just fight and then die.
Yeah,
or you could
any
fight
of them.
and then flee. Like you never fought, or you could just flee right away, or you could fight and succeed. Like there's you could experience any of these at any different times in any different scenarios, which is bonkers.
That is a really interesting thought that I actually never like brought up in my own mind. Like you can do all three, but at that point, is it a fear response, or like you did your fear response and then you thought about it and you changed course, or is it all just like, I'm still scared, I'm gonna try something else, this isn't working?
I feel like regardless of the situation, you're still fearful anyway. Even if you are thinking about it more, your response is conditioned, but you're still motivated by fear. That's still the core motivator.
That's fair. That's very fair. I like that a lot. I guess I never really thought of it that way.
Sometimes I have intelligent things to say.
So I'm like, I don't even think we need a script. Sometimes I say that like we don't prepare enough, but I'm like looking at this now and like we're getting to all these points before I even like I've been throwing pages behind me.
Goodbye.
So
Goodbye.
yeah. So the next thing that came up is biochemical reaction. Because it says it's
why is this
emotional and
flowing
then
so well?
right. It says emotional and I like threw that one, and then biochemical, which I will read a little bit about. Fear is a natural emotion and a survival mechanism. When we confront a perceived threat, our bodies respond in specific ways. Physical reactions to fear include sweating, increased heart rate, and high adrenaline levels that make us extremely alert. The physical response, known as fight or flight, prepares itself to either enter combat or run away. The biochemical reaction is likely an evolutionary development of the release of adrenaline. It's an automatic response that is crucial to our survival. You looked up your adrenal glands, I assume.
Oh, it's the amygdala, I thought.
I would assume the amygdala talks to the adrenal glands.
Yeah. Because the adrenal glands are what produces the adrenaline. The amygdala
Yes.
is what controls the actual
Right.
fear. That
Yeah.
tells the adrenal glands to make the adrenaline.
So that is the biological, the science side of Twitter.
Yeah.
Here's a little blurb about the emotional one. Emotional response to fear, on the other hand, is a highly personalized, like we just said. Look at how good we are.
Mm-hmm.
Because fear involves some of the same chemical reactions in our brains that positive emotions like happiness and excitement do. Feeling fear under certain circumstances can be seen as fun, like when you watch a scary movie. God, are we not awesome? It gets better. It gets better. It gets better.
Keep going. Then keep reading, Chanel.
Some people are adrenaline seekers, thriving on extreme sports and other fear-inducing thrill situations. Others have a negative reaction to the feeling of fear, avoiding fear-inducing situations at all costs. Oh my God, we're awesome. We're so good.
Perfect. That was fan-fucking-tastic. Literally, we like
paper.
Peace out, bitch. You're done.
All right.
Next paper, please.
So the next thing is symptoms of fear, which I'm sure we can name some. I'm looking at them.
I think
Do you
did.
You want to guess some more?
Sweating, increased heart rate. I'm gonna say like trouble breathing, like
shortness of breath.
Shortness of breath. Let's see what else. Like shakiness, like
trembling.
Yeah,
you're
sure.
on it, my guy.
Inability to move, I guess, like losing like control of your bodily functions. So that also could potentially include like inability to move, but also like puking, pissing, or shitting yourself. You never even know. Like
nausea, upset stomach. He's on it, ladies and gents. He's on it. My goodness.
What else? They said like increased heart rate. Oh, sweating is a big one.
Rapid heartbeat, sweating.
I'm gonna say like dilation of pupils.
Not on there, but definitely a good one.
Like when your eyes get super big. What else?
I think you're literally missing like 3, and
just say them.
Yeah. So here's all of them, and like I said, you named all but 3. Chest pain, you missed.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah. I should have thought of
that. Chills. A lot of people get chills when they're scared.
Yeah.
Dry mouth.
Yep. Okay.
And then the rest are nausea, rapid heartbeat, shortness of breath, sweating, trembling, upset stomach. You nailed that, dude. You nailed that.
Yeah, I feel all of those on a regular basis. So
that's not good. You good over there?
Bullying. Nah, it's external factors that cause this. Yeah, but it's fucking crazy, like all of the things that fear can cause, like even the physical, like you can be afraid of something imaginary and it will have an insane, if you are afraid of something enough, it will have an insane, like crazy physical effect on you, even if it doesn't exist or you are not in immediate life-threatening danger. You can make it all up in your head and start experiencing like the actual real like symptoms of fear, even if you're not in that situation. Like I feel like that's important to say as well, is like you don't have to be like fighting for your fucking life to experience all these like feelings of fear. Like you could literally be just chilling, and then the next thing you know, like you're like, oh my god, like I'm afraid, like what the fuck is happening to me right now, and then like you're going through it. Like who fucking knows? And it could be at a minor level, like you could be like, I have a tiny stomach pain, and the next thing you know, you're like, I'm sweating my balls off, I'm shitting myself, I'm crying, what's going on? Like, you never fucking know, which is the worst part too.
I'm like in love with you right now. I don't know. I'm just like fed. Like I love when we get on topics that you can just go off on because it makes me so excited that we're both into it. Um, yes, to all that, which circles back to one of our previous episodes where can your mental state affect your health and physically,
Yes,
literally,
it can. It will literally affect you so intensely physically. Like some of the worst physical experiences can be caused by fake like fear that is unwarranted.
which I love this. I love this so much. I just threw away 2 pages if you weren't watching. I just
Bam,
threw them
bam.
behind me because they were talking about diagnosing fear, which I feel is like pretty easy if you know the
True.
symptoms. And then when it increases to something more. But I stopped on one because there are treatments to fear, which I feel could also be life threatening if you cure your
What?
fear of things. Yeah, so that's see, same.
What?
Repeated exposure to similar situations leads to familiarity, which can dramatically reduce both of the fear responses. This approach forms the basis of some phobia treatments,
Oh, I guess that's true. Like clearing up like a clown phobia or something like that will do that to you. Like if you just repeatedly force yourself to experience it.
which is called systematic desensitization.
Yes, it is.
I'm not going to go through all these, but there's also flooding, which is a type of exposure technique that can be super successful. It's based on the premise that your phobia is a learned behavior and you need to unlearn it. With flooding, you're exposed to a huge quantity of your feared object or feeling for a prolonged amount of time in a safe, controlled environment until the fear diminishes, which to me sounds so fucking traumatic. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think that would ever make me better. If you put
I
me in a
mean,
room full of deer,
yeah,
I
for
wouldn't get
hours.
better. I would get
For
worse.
hours.
I would
I would
get
get worse.
worse.
Well, you say that though, but this has worked. So like clearly there's some sort of science behind it that it's worked with some people.
The point is to get you past the overwhelming anxiety and potential panic to a place where you have to confront your fear and eventually realize that you are okay.
Yeah,
I
which is exactly what it would be. If you were forced to, if they put you and they were like, you're gonna be in here for fucking like an unknown amount of time. You have to, the only way you're gonna get out is if you can like get past them yourself. You would have to get through it eventually. Like you wouldn't have a choice. Your body would adapt, improvise,
the,
adapt, overcome.
the like I'm having like a literal like a rip in my brain right now because also let's work on the definition of literal. My brain's not ripping.
Figuratively.
Figuratively. Um because I know that you're right and I know this is science and that this works, but the thought of you doing this to me, like that there's no, and this is how
No,
I think that I
exactly.
actually have a phobia because there's no way in my fucking mind that I ever think that would work. Like it like the thought of it in the regards to myself, because like to other people I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense, flooding, you'll get through it.
Oh, sure.
But like thinking about it, like I am physically feeling the signs of fear. Like it's like my
Yeah.
heart is pounding just thinking about it. I cannot fathom that working. Like it hurts me physically.
I would be very curious to see what would happen if you were put in that situation. Very, very curious.
I don't think it's pertinent. Let's not do it.
I don't think it's pertinent. Topical, some might
Yeah.
say.
Wow, that like legitimately, see, this is what it is. That like maybe like nervous thinking, like my palms are sweaty thinking about it.
Your knees weak, arms are heavy.
I guess the next thing is getting to the difference, since we're talking about it, of fear and phobias. When does fear become
Fascinating
a
shit.
phobia? I
What'd you
guess.
say?
I said, when does fear become a phobia?
When does it?
Um,
When do it become a when do fear become a phobia?
when do, um, so I'm gonna start with the key takeaways, so we don't have to go through all
Oh,
this.
perfect. The key takeaways are all I need.
Yes. Fear is a normal reaction to a threat, while a phobia leads to a fear response even when you're not in danger.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
pho-
so like you can't do shit about it at that point, right? Like, oh
s-
God.
so a fear is something that is for a reason, is rational, and will
Mhm.
most likely keep you alive or safe in a situation, where a phobia is something that elicits all the fear response even when you're not actually in danger.
So it's a little bit more irrational, is what you're saying.
Basically, a phobia doesn't make sense.
It's kind of like an irrational fear.
It is an irrational fear, just continued.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And phobias tend to be fixed on certain situations or objects.
Okay.
Fear is an inevitable part of life, but for some people, fear for a specific situation can become so overwhelming and debilitating that it turns into a phobia.
I could not like I can't imagine that shit. Like people who have like crazy ass fears like triskaidekaphobia or whatever the fuck, like the fear of the number 13 or
Yeah.
there's something like the fear that a duck is always watching you. Like what the
The,
fuck?
the random ones.
Like what
Yeah.
is that? Like how is that a thing? How is that something that you're afraid of? And why is it so specific? And why the fuck are you afraid of that? And
Where
like
did it come from?
how did that develop exactly? Like what happened to you? Did some ducks like antagonize you? Like what caused this, you know what I mean? And I mean like for you even like what caused, like do you know what caused like a fucking intense fear, a rational fear of deer? No you don't, do you? Like that shit
No,
came
I
out of
have no
nowhere, didn't it?
idea.
Without
Si-
warning.
Since I was a child, since I was young,
All random, all random.
no
Who
idea.
fucking knows?
So a phobia is actually a type of anxiety disorder.
Oh,
Phobias trigger overwhelming anxiety even when it's clear you are not in danger. For example, just seeing a spider on TV can make you very anxious if you have arachnophobia.
yeah.
Instead of it being like, oh my God, there's a spider that can actually do harm, it's like, oh, I know that's on TV. I'm still freaking out.
Yeah, yeah.
That's me.
Yeah, that is, oh yeah. You do have that is, hold up. I'm about to diagnose you.
Solidifying my anxiety is actually a phobia.
Well, there's got to be a name for this, right? Like there's a name for everything.
The deer one. There is.
Alophiphobia.
Yeah.
Alophiphobia.
I feel like I knew this. I made a pun about it the last time someone told it to me because I was like, it is. I said something like, oh, it is laughable because it's like, oh, laughophobia. I'm like, it is laughable.
It is laughable. Ah ha ha. That's so wrong.
Yeah, it's sad. Fear may be a phobia when you experience overwhelming anxiety that doesn't match the level of danger, which I think is my favorite definition. And
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
fear is more than your actual danger.
That is, yeah. Oh God. Could you? Oh my God. I just thought of something crazy. What if you had a phobia of fear?
It'd be never ending loop. You would never escape it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that at all.
Is there a fear phobia? Like, could you be afraid of being
Oh,
afraid?
I'm sure there is. There's a
And what-
phobia word for everything.
Yeah. So what happens to you when you're afraid of fear?
You die
do-
because
Yeah,
you
because
become
feared
agoraphobic.
fear? Yeah, like I don't even. How do you even go about that? But is agoraphobic even like a step even in the correct direction? Because fearing fear means you could be afraid at any time. It doesn't even have to be limited to just staying in your house. Like that could be safe. But for someone who's fears fear, they're afraid all the time. So
They're
they could be even afraid just
because
in their
they're
house.
afraid.
Yeah, they're
That's
afraid
like
because they're afraid.
so fucking twisted. That's like the same thing
Yeah.
as like the fear of long words is one of the longest words in the English dictionary.
That's
It's like
funny.
so
Of course.
rude. It's so
Oh,
rude.
fucking course it is. Oh, fucking course it is.
So phobia symptoms are much like fear, but a bit more intense. It's trembling, nausea, extreme vomiting, feeling like you're losing control or currently dying, a need to use the restroom, chest pain, difficulty breathing, rapid heartbeat, feeling lightheaded, dizzy, or nauseous, butterflies in your stomach, and in extreme cases, complete panic attacks.
So describe how you feel when you potentially see a deer, or not even that, when you know one is just nearby. When someone is like, "Don't look, there's a deer," or like, "Don't look over there," and then but you still know it's there. So like, how do you feel? Like, I'm sure you're still like panicked, right? Like even if you're not looking directly at it.
It seems so stupid. It pisses me off so much. It makes me so mad because like my rational brain fights my irrational fear.
Yeah.
I do, even when people say it, I definitely, my heart rate increases, which I feel like is just like fear.
Uh-huh.
But again, I know I'm not in danger, so it doesn't match the level of danger.
Yeah.
It is definitely worse when I see them. So like
Well, yeah.
the visual is like where I feel like literally I feel like I'm actually immediately in danger. Like if I see a deer, like I feel like my heart either stops or is pounding out of my chest. I get
Wow.
cold sweats. I cease to function properly for a couple seconds.
Okay.
Like if I'm driving and I see a deer, like I literally white knuckle and like don't Like if someone braked in front of me when that happened, like I would die
Oh my
because I like
God.
don't react for
Yeah.
it's only a couple seconds, like maybe 3 to 5. I don't know. It feels long, but it's probably not. But I feel, and then afterwards, like I definitely my heart rate is like bonkers.
Yeah.
I like have super short breath. Like I basically want to say hyperventilate, but not that intense.
Okay.
And then it takes like minutes for me to be like, that was stupid. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
my bad.
Jeez.
I don't ever
Yeah.
get like the feeling of vomiting that I remember, like nausea or
Okay.
vomiting. I don't think I have that. I have definitely like been so shaken by it that I'm like literally like trembling, like shaking, my body shaking. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I cry sometimes, like not a like when you get hit in the nose and like tears
Mm-hmm.
just fall,
It's
not like
yes.
I'm like
Yes.
trying to cry, like that just happens. Um, I want to say like the worst time I've had in a long time. We went to the Grand Canyon, and as we were like driving out, like leaving, I think I was in the passenger seat, and I just happened to just turn just to look, because we're like going through a forest, and we were at a stoplight, and I just turned, and there was a moose about
Mm-mm.
about maybe 5 to 7 yards from the car. So like
Oh
super
no. So
close.
that's close.
So it basically
Jesus.
to me felt like its head was in the car.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I full on like hyperventilated, couldn't breathe, was crying, shaking, like in a ball in the car, like curled away from it. And like,
Mm-mm.
whereas most people, like everybody else was like leaning out their cars, like, look, like taking pictures. And I'm like, almost like seizing. Like
Oh God.
it was awful. And then I was so mad because I was like, that should have been so cool. Like a half hour later, I was like, that
Sure.
should have been amazing. And I'm like sitting here like I was dying. Like it's so frustrating. And
I feel
most
like being afraid of a moose is more valid than a deer. Moose are scary. Meese, I hate meese, bro. I do not fuck with moose in at all. Like they're giant. Why? First of all, why are they so big? Why do you what made? Why did you have to be that size?
they
You
are
are
enormous.
there's no reason for it to be 7 feet fucking tall. The giant ass fucking antlers, like that. The fact that it can swim underwater, like a moose, is literally a menace to society. Moose and menace go hand in hand. So being
Mooses and
afraid,
menaces.
bro. Oh, you could hit a moose and you'll die if
You
you're
can hit
driving
it,
on the
but
street.
same, you can hit a deer and you'll die.
Yeah,
Deer
that's
are
true.
also fucking stupid. They're mean and they're stupid. It's like the worst
And they have
combination. I say it all
all
the
of
time.
those animals, like the family of, I don't know what the fuck, like elk based
I
type
wanted
of
to say
shit. I don't
bovine,
know.
but I think that's
Oh,
cows, so I don't know.
maybe, I don't know. Well, regardless, the point is like they have soulless eyes. That's what I always think of when I look at
That's
deer. They
literally
have
because people are
soulless,
like,
dark, soulless eyes. They just look. It's just pitch black. There's no pupils or like, or I guess like the outside, the whites, right? So
I
it's just
don't
like.
like it. I don't like it.
So I will tell you one of. I don't know. Have you ever watched Adventure Time?
No, but I've been told about there's like a big ass deer creature that's
Well,
like
not only
super
that, there's
creepy.
literally an episode where a deer just watches them.
Yeah.
That's the whole episode. That's the whole
No.
episode, and them like trying to get away from it. Yeah,
No.
it's pretty like, yeah. No.
Deer are also, it's like a double-edged sword because deer are also commonly used in horror movies as like a jump scare or like a scare factor.
Oh yeah, because then it's like it's a fake out.
Yeah, and it like quadruply works on me. Like it's awful. It's the
You're like, that
worst.
was worse than the actual supernatural thing that is chasing them. Like,
There's this movie, and my dumbass like horror movies, I don't read descriptions because I don't want to be like, I don't want to be spoiled. Like I want it all
yeah.
to be like, whoa. I watched this movie
Whoa.
called The Ritual, and it was like
The
this
sick.
hiking. It was like this hiking movie where they like hike through, I don't know, like Norway or something,
Okay.
and they like happen upon the occult on accident. And like I'm like, okay, like normal like occult shit, like dark magic, blah blah blah. Little did I know that this movie would build a Wendigo, like the deer version of a Wendigo, out of human
Oh,
bodies.
stop it right now. Stop it right now.
So
No.
if you're brave, look up the creature from the movie The Ritual right
I'll
now.
do that.
And it is literally a probably 15 to 20-foot deer made out of human bodies.
The ritual monster. Oh my god. Wait. What? This thing is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. That's pretty horrendous to look at, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so it's scary to you. Just imagine me on top of that. Like, oh Jesus, that movie fucked me up for quite some time.
The fact that it's made fully from mm-mm,
Human
mm,
bodies.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No. No. No.
So yeah, it's not a fun
No.
time moving away from my specific phobia because that's not why we're here. I just saw what causes phobias, so I'm a little bit intrigued.
Okay. Keep it out.
The first one is genetics.
What?
Yeah, I react the same way. It says phobias may have a genetic link. Studies show that if you have a family member who has a phobia, you may be at higher risk for developing one too. Not necessarily the same one, but also developing a phobia.
Does anybody in your family have a phobia of anything?
I don't
Do you
know
know
that it's a
anybody who used to?
phobia. I know that my mom had a fear of heights where like we went in the Navy Pier. What is that called? The tall thing at Navy Pier. Please help. Like a horizontal merry-go-round. Please
Oh,
fucking
the wheel.
yeah. What the fuck is that called? The
It's
Ferris wheel.
I
Oh
was just
my
gonna
god.
say the carousel wheel. That's what I was just about to say to you. The carousel
We're
wheel.
so bad. We went on the
What the
Ferris
fuck?
wheel. Wow, that was
We could
bad.
we could come up with parts of the brain, but not Ferris wheel, like fucking
Yeah.
assholes.
Wow. Yeah, so she went on that and I remember very distinctly her having a full-on panic attack at the top and like
Oh no.
crying and sweating and like shaking the thing and like yelling. And so I don't know if it's a phobia, but she was definitely very afraid.
That sounds yeah, that definitely sounds like some kind of phobia type, like
But
very
she's
real
definitely
fear. So
she's definitely worked on it with me actually because I've taken her obviously on planes and parasailing and she went on zip lines. She was horrified, but she did it. So she definitely is one of those people that like worked through the pain.
well, that's the most. I feel like that's more important than anything. Like what?
Yeah,
Like,
right?
are you kidding? Like the ability to overcome such an intense fear like that.
I can only dream. I can only dream. The next one is brain function. Changes in brain activity may contribute to phobias. For example, one review concluded that people with a phobia of small animals had increased brain activity in their left amygdala and their insular cortex. These areas of the brain both become more active when you experience fear. So they
Hmm.
had overactive brain parts basically that caused their phobia.
Huh. Once again, it do be your own body who's got it
Yeah,
out against you, man.
it's fucking
That's so
rude.
fucked up.
The other ones are kind of things we've talked about: past experience, something happened, and learned
Gotta get that
behaviors.
trauma.
Yeah. And then again, same thing: phobia. Cognitive behavioral therapy with exposure is usually the treatment.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to be exposed. I
I don't want to
really
be.
don't want that. Okay. My last little game for you since you've played this so well with me.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
This has been amazing. I'm super excited. I have a list of the 12 most common and prevalent um phobias in the United States.
I bet.
And I am willing to bet that you can guess at least half, so please don't let me down.
All right, say less. Do you want
Let
actual names or can I get close?
No, you can get like the what the fear is
Okay.
of. And
Okay.
I'm just trying to find a way where I can mark these off. Ah, fuck it. Just go ahead.
All right. Claustrophobia
That is number 11.
is is that you said 12, right?
There's 12, yeah. So you have number
Okay.
11.
Fear of heights,
That is number 3.
fear of spiders.
That's number 1. Can you fucking
Yep.
believe it?
Yep. Not surprised. Fear of the dark.
Actually, not on here.
Really?
Yeah.
What did I say? That's 4, right?
You said you can guess as many as you want until you're out, but you have
No,
3
I know. I'm
correct.
trying to think.
Yeah.
Oh, I have 3 correct.
Yeah.
Fear of like planes or fear of flying. Fear of flying is I feel like that's different from heights.
Fear of flying is on there and fear of heights is on there.
Okay. And then I feel like a lot of people are low key afraid of the ocean.
I think that's a really good one. It's not on here though.
Okay.
We're also talking about
Um,
in the United States, so it might be like a
that's
little
true. That's
less.
true. Is fear of the unknown a thing? Is that something that's on there? I don't know if it is.
Not on there.
Um, for a lot of people seem to have fear of commitment.
I love that.
Damn.
Love that. Not on there. Oof,
I thought that was pretty good. I had
that was
to.
funny. That was good.
um, fuck. I feel like I'm missing some obvious ones.
You let me know when you want me to go. There's like 3 or 4 on here that I'm like, oh, really?
Like a fear of being robbed or something like that, or
just
agoraphobia.
just in Chicago, agoraphobia is on there. You've got 6
Agoraphobia.
of 12, so you have met my 50%, and I
Perfect.
love it. Thank you.
I'm not done though. Like I don't want to be done. Like
Okay,
a fear. What about of snakes? Let's
snakes
do
is on
snakes.
there. That's
Okay.
7. Let's do
Um.
snakes for 500.
Yeah. Let's see. Show me snakes.
Put it on the board.
Fire. A fear of fire, maybe.
Not on there.
Okay. I don't know. I didn't know if that was valid or not. I'm trying to think. You said there are 3 that are unexpected. That means I probably won't get them. If you didn't get them, I wouldn't get them.
There's one on here that makes me actually upset, like sad for whoever has this. That's the only clue I'll give you.
Fear of like murder.
That I mean that that's a
Is that
fair
on
one.
there?
It's no, it's not on here. No.
What about like fear of? I don't know. I'm done. I'm gonna tap out. I'm gonna
All
tap
right,
out. Why don't you just
seven.
tell me the rest? Why don't you
Seven
tell me
is
the rest?
good. All
Yeah.
right, I'm gonna name them all. The ones you have. You have 7 of these.
Okay.
The last one, number 12, is glossophobia, which is the fear of public speaking.
Oh, that. Yep. That makes sense. That makes sense. I should have thought. Damn. I really should have thought of that one. That's kind of.
At 11, we have claustrophobia, which is the fear of small spaces. You guessed that one. Number 10, this is the one of the ones I wouldn't have guessed, but it makes sense. It's mysophobia, which is the fear of germs.
Okay.
Especially, I feel like
Yeah.
now during COVID.
Especially now. Especially now.
Number 9 is agoraphobia. We've talked about a lot. It is the fear of a situation where escape may be difficult. It often is equated to the fear of leaving home because it's not your safe space. Number 8 is a social phobia. It's literally called social phobia. It's social anxiety disorder.
Damn.
Number 7 is trypanophobia, which is the fear of injection and or needles.
Oh, the
Yeah.
fear of needles. What the fuck? Of course.
Yeah.
How did I miss that? I don't even like needles. Like, how did I fucking not think of that?
I was going to give you the clue that I think your mom would be pretty close to a phobia of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The next one, number 6, is astrophobia, which is one I didn't guess. It's the fear of thunder and lightning.
Apparently, like, I don't know about you. I personally love me a good thunderstorm. I think we've talked
I
about
do
this
too.
a lot.
I do too.
So I like thunder and lightning. Like, I love it. I love the way it looks. I love the way it sounds. I love the rain sounds on like on a window pane. Like, obviously, like I don't enjoy like being out in it. Well, sometimes, but when it's
Yeah.
like crazy, like I'm not like itching to go out there. So I don't know. I think
I love a good storm too. I do.
yeah, exactly. So it's so crazy. Like I mean, but all like a lot of animals have that fear of like that shit. So
I do think that for animals though, it's more of a like keep you alive response
yeah,
because
exactly.
they don't
They're probably
generally
used to,
have shelter.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say next was their fear is like being stuck in such shitty weather because they're like used to like having to, obviously not being domesticated. At
Right.
least I feel like innately, right? Like despite the fact of generations of breeding.
They don't know. They don't know.
But anyway, yeah, like I'm learning that like a lot of people have like that fear of like thunder and lightning, and so that's kind of crazy to me.
I don't know if I'd call it a phobia, but Hannah definitely has the fear of it where it like freaks her out for sure.
Oh, don't get me wrong, that shit can be startling as fuck.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's cool. Like, ooh, look at that streak across the sky.
Once you know what's happening, it's almost calming.
Yeah, exactly.
To me.
Exactly. I agree with
Okay.
you.
The next one is the one that makes me very upset for the humans that have this. It's cynophobia, which is the fear of dogs.
No, it's okay, y'all.
That's number
Why?
5, which means
Why?
it's very common.
Damn, I should have. Oh, fuck. What you just said I should have made a different joke. What an L.
4 is aerophobia, the fear of flying, which you guessed. The next one is acrophobia, which is the fear of heights, which you guessed. I don't know how to say this. Ophidiophobia. Ophidiophobia is the fear of snakes.
And that's what, number 1?
Number 2.
Oh,
Number
two. And
1
then
is
was
arachnophobia.
yeah. And at number 13, or potentially somewhere else on the list, is xenophobia.
Oh, you went there. That's number 1 in the US, ladies and
Yes, it
gents.
is. Yes, it fucking is. God damn.
Okay, that's all I have for you.
I think that was pretty, like, that was extensive. That was a lot. And I think that I personally think I surpassed your expectations. So
you
I
always do.
Thanks. You're so sweet. Thank you. Aw, how nice.
This was very exciting to talk about. I don't know. I love like conversations you can delve in and ask more questions.
Yes, it is. It's fantastic. It's so good.
All of my 300,000 pages were brought to you by Good RX Health. So shout out to them for the information. Thank you very much.
Thanks for that info, y'all.
Did not come out of my brain, although most of it did come out of our brains.
Yeah, that's true. We did just kind of follow a guideline a little bit more or less. So
we were pretty on
But anyway, thank you to that random website that you found for all that info. And thank you, listeners, for checking out this episode. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat at Rated Pod to see very irregular posting, and make sure to stay up to date with your regular Rated E news on all of those social media websites. Special shout out to our homegirl, Yasmin Abed Art, for creating all of our new designs for all of our new episodes that come out each week. She creates the graphics for all of those and also has created our brand new logo that you guys have been seeing so frequently,
hot.
which is so sexy looking. So thank you guys for continuing to support us, and thank you, Yasmin, for continuing to support us. And definitely all of you guys need to go support her right now. Go buy some artwork, go do something. I don't give a fuck. Go follow her. Go like comment or like all of her posts on Facebook and Instagram and stuff.
Kiss her on the mouth.
Blow her up. Give
kiss
her
her on the
like,
mouth. I don't know.
If you follow us, you should be following her too.
Absolutely.
That's kind of like how this works. So
this works. If you're doing it, you have to.
Gotta do it right. So
I don't know if you know this, but when you like click follow on us, there's like a legal contract that appears in number -4 font that says you also have to follow her.
Exactly. -4 font. So
yeah.
It doesn't even exist in this realm.
Correct.
So thank you guys so much for listening to this podcast episode. Make sure to keep that motherfucking thing on you and don't let nobody sneak up on you, because you'll get afraid. So thank you guys so much for listening. Goodbye.
I just appreciate you so much today and always, but especially today.
Thanks.
You're just on it. Okay, we love you. Bye.